From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonder's Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome to the Wow Report, where we count down the top 10 things that make us go wow.
Wow.
Back again. Our host and fearless leader, Fenton Bailey, is still on vacation. Now, I went from being happy for him to being resentful.
That son of a bitch just gallivanting.
Get back! The beautiful voice you just heard is that none other than the Club Kid Turd best-selling author and the editor.
Dulcet tones of James St. James.
James St. James! Hi, James. How are you, darling?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
And stepping up as he always does, whether he's behind the scenes or on the mic, it is Blake Jacobs, who
making me work again.
Yes, and I accidentally referred to you as Jake for just a second last week, and there's a moment where James goes, "Who's Jake?" And one of our listeners on the YouTube channel just put up, "Who's Jake?" And I thought, like, if we can just bring a little bit of sunshine into people's life by just calling to the
but
wrong
I think
names.
This speaks to a deeper problem. If you've known him for 20 years, and you're calling him Jake, I wonder about the state of your mental.
I mean, if he were only the first person to do that, I mean, I do have 3 first names, Joseph Blake Jacobs, so.
All right, so I'm going to call you Jake from now on. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into it, shall we?
My pot store calls me Joe.
Your pot store calls you Joe.
Because I'm Joseph.
Joe?
Because I'm Joseph on my thing.
That's
so
nice.
They're like,
hey Joe.
Which was my dad's name, so.
Smokey Joe. Let's count down, starting with number 10.
Number 10.
Breaking news. Emmy nominations for this year, which, by the way, we may never have the Emmy Awards if these strikes keep going on, but we've got the nominations, so we're going to milk it. And I'm going to start because I am thrilled, honored, humbled that RuPaul's Drag Race, the franchise, received 9 Emmy nominations. And I'm going to read them off just because I want everybody who's part of it to know. But Outstanding Reality Competition. Don't know if we're going to win any of these, but we're nominated. Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Series or Reality Series. Outstanding Host for a Reality Program. That's RuPaul. You've heard of him. Outstanding Casting for Reality Program. We should always win because our cast is the best and our cast directors are fabulous. Outstanding Direction. That's Nick Murray, who's won a couple times before. Outstanding Picture Editing for a Structured Reality Competition Show. Our editors, I mean, it's hard to believe, I know, when you watch the show that it's edited. It seems like just a straight fly-on-the-wall experience, but it's actually very highly edited. And then Outstanding Sound Mixing for a reality program, which is amazing. And Untucked, which is the show after the show, which if you're not watching Untucked, you're only getting half the story, is up for Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program, and then Outstanding Picture Editing for an Unstructured Reality Program. So
congrats to everyone. Congrats.
Yes, absolutely fantastic.
It's, and I got to say, and it sounds self-serving and maybe it is, but with all the darkness and all the political darkness, we've been making the show for 15 seasons, and drag has never been under such a microscope and it's such a political hot button in a long time. So the fact that the Academy, thank you very much for shining a light on us, is a bright spot in otherwise, and we're going to keep doing it and be outrageous and crazy until the AI comes over and takes us as their pets or slaves.
And I feel like this would be a good place to say drag performers in the LGBTQ plus community are facing threats across the country. And that's why World of Wonder, RuPaul's Drag Race, and MTV are proud to donate to the Drag Defense Fund to support the ACLU's work to fight for the protection of LGBTQ plus rights. And you can learn more and donate at aclu.org/dragdefense.
I wish people listening in their cars could have seen James' face during that very spontaneous "thank you, Blake" announcement. What?
Because I have a million thoughts about the Emmys, and you totally just dragged it down. And now anything I say, it's a hard pivot to get back to what I wanted to talk about the Emmys. I think we should move on.
We're queer. We're here. James, tell me what you think about the Emmys. Go deep. We can do it all. We can do it all on the show. We can be.
What if we want to make this an hour and 35 minutes?
I will skip one of my topics. I will defer a topic to you right now, James. Go.
I do want to say that Best Supporting Actor in a Drama category is interesting this year. F. Murray Abraham, Michael Imperioli, Theo James, and Will Sharp from White Lotus were all nominated. They are all going to lose to Alexander Skarsgård for Succession. That's my prediction right there. The best supporting actress in a drama category. This is unbelievable. Jennifer Coolidge, Megan Fahey, Sabrina Impicatory, Aubrey Plaza, Simone Tesco from White Lotus are all nominated. They are all going to knock each other out, and Elizabeth Debicki from The Crown is going to get it, I believe. I think Best Actor, Jeremy Strong, if it doesn't go to Bob Odenkirk, who always gets it for Better Call Saul. And then Best Drama Series is interesting. Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of Dragon, The Last of Us, Succession, White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets are all television at its absolute peak. I do want to say that there were some snubs that were a little interesting, because Paddy Constantine for House of the Dragons had a scene where he walks across the room, and it is the most riveting 3 minutes of television in the last 10 years. It is so fascinating, and he should have gotten a nomination for that alone. He did not. Christina Ricci did not get a nomination for Yellow Jackets, which is a shame. And weirdly, Jeremy Allen White, so good on The Bear, was nominated for Best Comedy Actor and a Best Comedy Series. And if you've watched the show, it is an hour and 20 minutes of panic attack that you are having, that he is having. There is nothing funny about any of it. It is white knuckles.
James, you know how they're struggling now with gender categories? I'd like the idea of introducing panic-inducing, like really breaking down the categories.
And cringe-inducing.
Yes, cringe TV, anxiety-inducing. Yes, weight loss programming. I don't know.
So I also think that Quinta Brunson will win Best Actress, and Cheryl Lee Ralph will win Best Actress for Abbott Elementary again. And I think that Best Actor in a Comedy Series will be Jason Sudeikis from Ted Lasso.
I have a question.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Patty on
Paddy, Paddy, Paddy.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Patty Duke.
No. He's Irish.
Oh, okay.
I just want to shout out to two friends blatantly. One is someone we know and love and work with, is Jamal Sims, received an Emmy nomination for choreography on The Rise of the Pink Ladies. And it's a sweet, bittersweet success because, of course, that show has been yanked from Paramount Plus. But Jamal, who does so much with Drag Race, I think this might be his first nomination. If I'm wrong, forgive me. And then my friend Sylvia, who wrote The Eyes of Tammy Faye, the movie, also did the miniseries, wrote the miniseries created about Tammy and George and Tammy.
Oh, and, yeah.
Michael Shannon is nominated. I know Jessica Chastain is nominated. So it's got some major nominations. I was reading the list, and it's so long and so comprehensive.
It just and it's so like it goes in like there's some niche category, like best lighting and a production design in a foreign documentary, nonfiction hour-long category.
Isn't it weird that Jessica Chastain has portrayed two ladies named Tammy in the past 2 years?
Why that is? I didn't even put that together.
And she is in her award collecting part of her career.
Next up, Tammy Grimes.
Tammy Wilson. That's my mom.
Tammy.
That's what she was named after.
Oh. All right. We've just took a little
blown our load.
Emmys. There's more to talk about. Hopefully, again, the big question is, will there be an Emmys Awards this season broadcast? More on that as we continue. But let's move on now to number 9, James.
Number 9.
There's a viral video that has captured the heart of a nation. There is a Karen on a plane whose edibles seem to have kicked in, and she stands in the middle of the aisle at the front of the plane saying, "I'm telling you, I am getting the fuck off this plane, and you can leave or you can not leave. You can believe me, but that motherfucker back there is not real." And everybody turns around like they're totally believing her. The entire plane turns around like they're expecting to see like the Babadook or like Final Destination or something is happening. And she says, "You all can die, but I am getting off right now." And it's funny because But there have been a million memes about it, and she's very like charismatic, and you love her, you feel sorry for her.
She's very charismatic.
What?
She's very charismatic.
Charismatic, yes. That's
Trademark.
funny, right? Just the other day, there was a response, and there was a camera that went back and saw there was a guy in a green hoodie. I don't know if you've seen this, and you see him. His eyes are like lizards, and they're closing vertically instead of horizontally, and it's like he is not real. He is a lizard demon on board that plane.
I wonder what airline it was. Do you know by any chance?
I don't, but I do think it happened in DFW, which makes me think it might have been an American Airlines.
All right. And this is my thing. This is my sappy point of view. But like clearly, I think we all have breaks in our sanity from time to time. We just do, just little ones here and there. How awful that you have yours and it's being videotaped and you're trapped on a plane. But there was an old expression that the difference between Southern people and Northern people is that Northern people took their crazy relatives and they locked them up, and in the South they put them on the front porch. So maybe we are, if we're exploiting, probably, or maybe just normalizing, aggrandizing, and normalizing mental illness by putting it online.
I hope not, but
I know. But yeah. I love that James took a call because I need to get out of here on time today. So we're going to keep counting down. Blake, I hope you're ready. I know we had another minute left in the segment, but we're going to go straight to on the Wow Report as we count down the number one things that make us go wow. We're at number 8.
Number 8.
So last night, I was gifted 2 third-row seats to see Charlie Puth at the Greek Theater, and James St. James and I went, and we had the time of our lives. Are you familiar with Charlie Puth?
I know his name because didn't Elton John help him at some point during the COVID or something?
Maybe, but Charlie Puth writes a lot of songs for other people. Okay. So a lot of the songs, but he also has his hits in his own right. He has that song called Attention that James and I always joke sounds like he's saying, throwing that turtle on my knee. But he's really saying, you run around, throwing that dirt all on my name.
No, because this is my thing. Elton told him during COVID, he hung out, Charlie Puth, with Elton John, and he said that Elton told him his music was not good. And in that, he challenged him to make his music better. So Elton, of course, comes, he often associates himself, oh my God, I'm so busy today, and it's so hot in the valley. I'm slurring my words like a crazy person.
But this on top of calling him Jake, this is 2 weeks in a row. I don't think it's the heat. I think you need to go in for an MRI. I am
maybe some vacation.
MRI all of a sudden.
Maybe a 3-week vacation to Greece. I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
James, what did you think?
If we're talking about Charlie, that he was absolutely adorable. I went in sort of thinking like, oh, all I know him from is the thirst trap pictures that he posts all the time. And he had more hits than I can recall. And I ended up knowing like all the songs and loving him. I'm a Charlie Puth super fan now.
Good.
Well, yeah, like I was saying earlier, he has all these songs that he's written for other people. So even though they weren't his songs, he still sang them. What were a couple of the covers? Do you remember, James?
Well, he did the Taylor Swift.
He did. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. I don't know if he wrote that one or not, but
he did Selena, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He did Dreaming of You, a cover of Selena, Dreaming of You. It was just really fun. And we had third row seats, so we could literally see the sweat.
We were right there. It was pretty spectacular. We saw the nipples, we saw individual armpit hairs, we saw the belly button. We saw the lint in the belly button. I mean, it was just.
What was the venue, may I ask? Where were you?
The Greek. And it was James's first time there.
Such a great venue.
I've never been there before.
You're kidding.
No.
And the weird thing is, Charlie Puth was telling this story about when he first moved.
This is so scary. Oh my God, this is crazy. Go tell it. This is crazy.
So when he first moved to LA, he was like, and I lived in this apartment at Sunset in Fairfax. And my friend who gave us the tickets came with us. My friend Mark Kahn was sitting next to us, and he was like, "Oh, that's my neck of the woods. I live at Sunset in Fairfax." And then he said, 7950 Sunset Boulevard. And he was like, "That's my building." So my friend Mark Kahn lived in the building that Charlie Puth lived in and was
and
talking about in the
that
contract.
on stage, and we were like, "What? How can you? You're living
Is it
in
that tall white building across the Bank of America?
It's right by there's a
across
Wells
from the
Fargo
DGA?"
across from
Yeah.
the DGA, and there's a Wells Fargo in the lobby.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It was a
Crazy.
magical night.
Blake, when you went in, James told us, what was your perception before going?
Mine?
Of Charlie, yeah.
Oh, I really wanted to go because last year he released his latest album. I forget what the name of it is, but he also had this song on it called Light Switch. And like every one of the songs on this album before the album came out were like trending on TikTok because he's like a big TikTok guy too. TikTok guy.
And TikTok. I like that.
This song, Light Switch, which was on all my playlists last year, I wanted to see him perform that, and he did, and it was amazing. And now there's so many other songs from that album that I'm like, I like this. So,
as I sit here at 99 degrees in Silmar, and you guys are in a breezy third row, Greek and Fenton's on a yacht somewhere in the Adriatic Sea. I feel very good. I'm so glad you guys had a good time. Charlie Puth, listen, play. He must still be on tour, so go check it out. We'll leave details in the WoW.
Well, actually, last night was the last night of the tour. And Tom, we had a ticket for you, but you wouldn't answer our phone calls.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to let people think that's true. I'm going to let that make that way I sound popular. All right. We're going to take a little break and come back. Before we do, Blake, any other spontaneous things you want to say that you've pre-written that you want to plug?
I do. Lots of news in the international drag race world. Season 2 of Drag Race Philippines premieres August 2nd, and we just revealed the cast. Check them out on the WoW Report. It's just been announced that Drag Queen has been announced as the host of Drag Race Brazil.
And Drag Queen was the winner of Queen of the Universe Season 1.
And you can watch that on Paramount+.
Drag Queen?
Greg, like Greg, but Greg.
Oh,
right.
That's funny. Okay.
Drag Race Mexico episodes drop on Thursday. Drag Race France episodes drop on Friday. And starting July 28th, new episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under will air on Fridays. And you can watch all of this on WoW Presents Plus here in the U.S.
Also on WoW Presents Plus, Night Fever, starring James H. James, Randy Barbado, Fenton Bailey. This week's episode, Cherry Vanilla. You have to watch it. She's Warhol superstar, punk rock pioneer, and David Bowie PR guru. She's absolutely scintillating.
Yeah.
And I will just say, because you listing off all those drag race things, it made me nervous. It filled me with anxiety because I don't have time to watch all of them. You don't have to watch all of them. They'll be there, but watch the ones you want. And by the way, they're all really, really, really good, and they're all really individual. I'm still heading to watch that Drag Race Mexico is out of this world and very, very popular in Mexico and in the United States. So there you have it. There's lots to watch.
Congratulations to everyone involved.
Yes, take that, writer's strike. I don't know. We're going to do what we have to do. We're not cutting anything out. This might be our last show. There's no edits. Promise me, you guys. All right. When we come back, more of the WoW Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders WoW Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the WoW Report, where we count down the top 10 things that make us go, wow. I'm Tom Campbell here with James St. James and Blake Jacobs, going the wrong way. Fenton is away, and I don't know. I think he's coming back. I don't know. He may be living in Europe for the rest of his life. Yes, we're jealous. Let's continue our countdown with number 7.
Number 7.
I live, breathe, and eat Drag Race, so I'm going to talk more about Drag Race, but I got to go to Vegas on Saturday, come back Sunday to see the 500th performance of RuPaul's Drag Race Live at the Flamingo in Vegas.
I cannot believe that.
It's a little show that we wrote. It's like an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Live. It's a lip sync extravaganza Many, many, many wonderful A-list queens have come into the show. It's designed that it's like this place where the queens can come and relax and work, but I'll be in one place. So often the queens go on tour. They're in so many different places. This is a place for them to do, they're the lead of the strip. And I have to say, Derek Barry was there. Derek Barry was there since day one. We started it right before the coronavirus. That was our plan. Let's start something big, putting a lot of money right before the coronavirus hits again. And Derek Barry has been doing it. Coco Montrese was performing. Kennedy Davenport burns the house down. Kennedy Davenport, if you don't see Kennedy Davenport live in your life, you've missed out. If you join TV, if you enjoy it, fabulous. When she comes tumbling down at the back of the stage, the front of the stage in like 2.5 inhuman leaps, your wig flies off. It's just incredible. Also, the wonderful Nikki Doll, who is in the US franchise. She's there, gorgeous, just so incredible. And the new player, who I had not seen yet, I had something to do with the writing of it. And while it's fun and spontaneous and constantly changing, it's more of like a little review, a Broadway show, than it is just a night at the club. And so the MC, who's been Asia O'Hara in the past, Chanel's filled in, the wonderful Ginger Minge has done an amazing job. But from across the pond, Lawrence Chaney, winner of RuPaul's Drag Race UK season 2, who we talked to. He goes, I got to go backstage and just hang with them a little bit afterwards. And Lawrence is there with like just his tights on and nothing else. And he's talking to me, and he's like, I was so afraid that people weren't going to understand my accent. And I said, oh my God, I said, they do. And he uses his accent. I said, you, my friend, are the Sofia Vergara of Scotland. Like you use that accent in such a way to make everything. I'm going to start to quote lines, and I don't mean anything out of line, but just little lines that aren't written where she'll go up like this.
You're going to quote your own lines?
No, these aren't my lines. These are the ad-libs, because there's a moment where we have a mini challenge.
I would not put it past you to quote yourself.
That's more Fenton's job than mine. Okay. So they go to the different queens, because there's been a mini challenge. And who did you like the best? And he went over to Derek Barry. He goes, oh, she did it again. And by it, I mean her makeup. And that was just like Laura. She also was in purple the whole time, which was her, she changes, but it's all this purple thing. And she started to call herself the Grimace from McDonald's. And it's just like, again, tears start going down your face. The show is great. Larry Edwards, also known as Hot Chocolate, one of the world's preeminent Tina Turner impersonator, is a friend of WOW. And when he heard that Theron and I were coming, he's like, I want to take you guys to dinner. And Rue's like, I want to go. And Rennie's like, I want to go. So like 10 of us, with Larry Edwards, got at the top of the, what's the big tower?
The Sphere.
Yes, the Sphere. We ate at the top. It's kind of old school, but it's a steakhouse. It turns around in an hour and 22 minutes, and people are bungee jumping off. Anyway, and the last but not least is the Sphere has been built. You know what the Sphere is in Vegas?
Oh my God, it's terrifying. That is the sign that we are living in a simulation. When you see that giant eyeball open and close, or the basketball in the middle.
It's a giant performance space that's built like a dome. It's in the middle of the city. They previewed it on July 4th. It doesn't open. It's going to be the home of U2's residency, and it's just all screens, which is all I want. But from the outside where we were, it was just a big basketball. But it's so photoreal and bright in the day that you don't even know what you're looking at.
Did you see it as the eyeball opening and closing?
I've only seen that online, because they did a whole preview on July 4th, but they were keeping it as the basketball.
And when you see it as the moon and Jupiter, and
I saw that online, but all I saw that night was a basketball. But it was quite something. Anyway, just letting you know that the show exists, because we forget to plug it. We just don't have time. But it's a joy, and Dita Von Teese was in the audience. Candy Muse came to watch. It was a Kahana Montrese, Pangina Heels was there. So it was really special. And if I've forgotten anyone's name, we're not doing any cuts this week. We're not doing any editing. We're not cleaning things up. Let's move on now to number 6.
Number 6.
I've joined Threads against my every fiber in my being said, don't do it. But I broke down and did it. It is, of course, Meta's answer to Twitter. Yeah. And, we're trading in one evil billionaire for another evil billionaire's vision. And I've never trusted Mark Zuckerberg. And I think that the way that Facebook mined metadata and all that stuff was just evil. And I left Facebook years ago. But they make it very easy to join. It's just a button here, a button there, a button click there. And all of your Instagram followers are instantly following you, so you don't have to build it up again. I did see there was a funny meme going around, and it was, I've been through Tumblr and MySpace, and I'm here. It was Shirley Temple singing. I mean, Shirley MacLaine singing "I'm Here," but it was to MySpace and Tumblr and blah blah blah. I'm not quite sure about it yet. There's some bugs that I don't quite understand. And the problem is that even though Twitter is a hellscape, and the whole idea of Twitter now under Elon Musk is if it enrages, you engage. If you're enraged, you're engaged. And so right-wing people see left-wing stuff, left-wing people see right-wing stuff, and it's just, they show it to you. Has nothing to do with who you follow anymore. Right. But the people that I follow and the people who follow me are all wonderful. And I have this wonderful little community that I go to and bounce ideas off of. And I really enjoy it. And the idea of losing all of them because they aren't on Instagram, it's sad. And I get so much of my news from Twitter. I mean, I follow, every news out from Al Jazeera to The Guardian to, so I have to go over and now start following them on Instagram and blah, 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 blah. So it's a whole thing.
But
Are
you
you
can
guys
follow
on
people on Threads, right? Does it
Yeah,
all
you
come
can.
from
Yeah, so I have to just go through and start looking at who I follow on Twitter and try and see if they're on Threads. And
this is a terrible analogy, but sometimes you just need to clean the closets. Or I was going to say, like the house burnt down, rebuild, but declutter. And then I look behind you.
It's true. It's like I said, there's I love so many of my Twitter people. I just hate what's happening on the main page. Are you on Threads, Tom?
I was this weekend, like in like a car or something. I tried to do it, and then I was just like out of range or something. So I sort of fight it, and then of course I'm going to do it. Like I just need to like rip out the Band-Aid, but then I didn't have connection, so I'll do it. I'll do it soon.
And it is a much nicer place. Everyone is it's because like Instagram. All I follow on Instagram are dog adoptions, Swedish royals, and British jewels. So I mean, like everybody is just wonderful on Instagram. And so
weird because everybody I follow is wearing a thong.
Well, see, I had about 347 drag queens, and I was like, okay, enough drag queens. I'm sorry. I need Swedish royals and dogs.
I don't need them now.
I think I quit after like Facebook. I did join Twitter, and I do still go there, but only to look at ding dongs.
Yes, it's a good porn place.
And I didn't do Threads.
Wait, are you not on Instagram?
I am on Instagram, but I never post to it. But then I'll see like all these people have commented on shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I linked my Facebook to it. So like sometimes.
Wait a minute, you're still on Facebook?
Yeah.
That's where Blake and I communicate. That's where he asked me about the tickets to go see
on typewriters.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. Aunt Hazel, who wears purple. The only thing I want to say is the real headline that we're totally erasing is the Mark Zuckerberg shirtless picture today. Did you see that?
Oh, Yuckerberg. Yeah. Gross. Ugh.
But if that were a filter that you could only get on Threads, wouldn't you get that filter? Because it seemed a little photoshopped or conveniently lit or something. I don't know.
There was a queen in New York named Marlon D'Angaro Extravaganza, and he would rouge. He had like, that thick rouge that grandmothers use, and he would paint on his abs over this like huge gut. And it was so funny. And he thought he just looked fabulous. He's passed now, so we can talk about him, but otherwise.
Oh, I thought he was going to be on Night Fever next week. Anyway, I just...
Were you coming for me?
I don't know. I can't tell. So Threads, have you joined? Join. If you join, look for James St. James and be nice and be nice.
What's your name on there, James? JSJ, darling?
No, I think it's James St. James 1.
Okay, so I can be James St. James too. Okay, good. And yes, thank you. Let's move on now to number 5.
Number 5.
Barbie. You're not excited about this, Tom?
Between Barbie and Mission Impossible, I can't stand the hype, but I'm just getting older.
Wait a
Mission
minute.
Impossible.
But I sent you the Ryan Gosling power ballad. Did you watch it?
I did.
And come on, didn't that sell you? Isn't everything he does? The funny thing is, and I'm going to let you talk in a second, Blake, but there's that famous Robert Pattinson quote about how Robert Pattinson says, you only go method acting when you're playing assholes. Nobody ever goes method to play a happy person. And this
Right.
has proved him wrong because Ryan Gosling has gone so deep into the character of Ken that he's having trouble getting out of it. It's like when Joaquin Phoenix was the Joker, and for 6 months afterwards, he was walking around like the
Austin
Joker.
Butler still talks like Elvis.
Exactly. And he has this himbo energy, this blonde himbo energy that is so funny on the red pink carpet. He is so adorable, and I just thought that he's going to get a Grammy and an Oscar for this because that power ballad was everything. Did you also see the Billie Eilish trailer?
I did, yeah.
Hey Blake, what's going on with Barbie? I'm just teasing. I didn't have a good segue. I want Barbie.
No, wait, but did you see? But Tom, did you see?
I haven't seen the Billie Eilish yet. I did see the thing you sent me. I don't love it as much as you do. I'm willing to be wrong, but I don't want to take anyone. You guys have enthusiasm,
what do you think is
and I'm
going
going
to
to
go
support
wrong?
your enthusiasm.
What could go wrong, and why? What did you just have a horrible childhood that you didn't?
Kind of did.
His parents wouldn't allow him to play with Barbies.
When I played Barbies with my sister, she'd give me the off-brand dolls that kind of looked like Barbie that had thick waists and their joints didn't bend. Those were the dolls I like. It was Chrissy in her kilt. Well, I can't be Chrissy in her kilt anymore. I'm not Skipper. I'm not the little sister with the flat chest. I want to be
Alan
Barbie in the belted mini dress. That's it, with the boots. That's what I wanted to be, but I never could be.
James, do you have anything else before I go ahead?
Go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You people are just coming for me. I can't wait for Fenton.
Well, now that everyone's getting nicer on Threads, we can be meaner on here. I think is what I'm getting.
So the soundtrack has Billie Eilish. It also has the song that Ken does, which is written by like Blood Pop and Andrew Wyatt, who is one of my favorite songwriters.
Cool.
James. It was just announced that Sam Smith is also on the Barbie soundtrack. You've got Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, Charlie XCX, Dua Lipa, Karol G. It's going to be amazing. But my favorite thing is how Margot Robbie has been dressing up as all the Barbies at all the premieres. She did. I've written some down. On June 25th, she was in LA. She did the Pink and Fabulous doll from 2015. That's the polka dots outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And June 29th, she did the original Barbie doll, the black and white. She was
the black fishtail and she's carrying the pink handkerchief.
That was your most successful one in my mind.
Well, the South Korean premiere, she did Day to Night from 1985. It was like a hat with like a big pink blazer, and then it turned into like a pink tutu. Magic, and in Mexico City, she did Magic Earring with like the charms on the belts, and then the long like totally hair Barbie. It's so cool. And then Nicki Minaj at the premiere in LA was she was Diva Gone Platinum Barbie from the 70s.
But it's so weird because people really came for Nicki Minaj for that, because Nicki's whole career has been based off of being the Barbie. She's the Barbie, and she came in like a gray dress. Like where was all the pink? Where was girl? You've been doing this for 20 years now. Like bring it. And she didn't.
I get what you mean. It was kind of, but
it was. And Gal Gadot, like, what, girl? What were you wearing? That was terrible. But Trixie Mattel was there and looked fabulous. Jeffrey Boyer Chapman was invited. I don't know why. I don't know how these invites happen, but I mean, of course he deserves it. But I mean, why weren't we invited? Why weren't the four of us invited?
Well, they knew you guys would probably be like at the Greek or something, and they knew that I'd be working late.
But everybody who comes really brings it. The pink carpets have been absolutely amazing, and I just got to say that Ryan Gosling, whoever is styling him, he is a movie star. Just
category is Barbie realness. Everyone, that's what's happening this summer. I just have to say for 2 seconds, I turned on because it was the Emmy nomination announcements on Wednesday. So I turned on television. I usually listen to NPR and I watched CBS Morning News, and I love you, Gail King. But they were just shilling the Mission Impossible movie because it's, Paramount. They were just shilling it and talking about it and having segments where Tony went out and learned how to be it's just, I don't know what it is. I know too much, but the way we're force-fed these things.
It's funny though, that because for everything we're seeing about Barbie and Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer opened, there was a preview and people are saying that it is like life-changing, that it is an amazing piece of film. It is Christopher Nolan's best, and people walked out of it saying that they were just gobsmacked by it. And
that's what you gave me a good alternative. Yes,
that's the same day as Barbie, I think, right?
Yeah,
Mission Impossible's open now. You can go right now. But it's like, Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Don't care. There, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Me either.
All right. Are we at the end of the segment? I think we are. We're going to take a little break, but don't go away because there's so much more love and bitterness. Blake, anything to mention on our way out?
New episodes of Big Freedom Means Business drop Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fuse TV in the U.S. Wow Presents Plus everywhere else.
Awesome show. All right, thank you. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report, where we count down every week the top 10 things that make us go wow. Tom Campbell, James St. James, Blake Jacobs, also known as Jake. Let's go. We have reached number 4.
Number 4.
Sad and touched to report, this is a rest in perfection, that Reverend Steve Pieters passed away after he was in his late years. The miracle of Steve Pieters is Steve, if you don't know by his name, is the HIV positive AIDS patient that Tammy Faye Baker spoke to on the PTL so many years ago.
35 plus years? How long
it was in
ago?
The 80s. It was the height of AIDS, and there was panic and fear and no solution. And Tammy Faye, an evangelical Christian, but we know what an angel she was underneath it all, had him on her show. It was recreated in the movie, the Tammy Faye, Eyes of Tammy Faye movie with Jessica Chastain. And I was able to, he's a West Hollywood resident. The amazing news is that he was on death's door at the height of the AIDS crisis. And it is now 2023, and he lived a full and giving life. And he was this wonderful guy. And the last time I saw him, it was during COVID, and there was an outdoor screening of The Eyes of Tammy Faye that I got to go see. And he was there. And it just so happened that the House of Avalon guys were there, having him along, with the House of Avalon and Young Gays. We brought them together. There was this picture, and just thought, there it is, right there are our grandchildren. There are our grandparents. Those are multi-generations of queer folk who come together and celebrate each other and have each other's back, and how much wisdom and love. And I was going to research this, but I didn't. But I went to see a play in the 80s that wonderful David Schneiderman, brought me to when I was at HBO. He wanted me to do it as an HBO something. We didn't, but it was called AIDS Us Too. And it was all these people, including Allison Angram. Is that her name from Little House on the Prairie?
Little House on the
And her co-star on that show had died of AIDS. I swear to God, Steve was part of it. And it was all these people just telling stories about their own fight with AIDS or people they had lost. And I get caught in the 80s, but it was such a moving thing. I just wept the entire time because people were just sharing their grief and their beauty in the story and celebrating the people. And at the end of this thing, it was in a tiny little 99-seat theater on Vermont Avenue. And at the end, they said to the audience, "Is there anybody you've lost? Say their name now." And I swear, I don't know how long it went. It felt like for 3 minutes, it was just people saying people's names. It was just and you're just oh. So Steve was part of that too. And I don't know. And I say it out loud, out of context. It feels very, self-serving or self-pitying, but it was just what people did to keep stories alive and make sense of what was going on. And Steve Pieters, Reverend Steve Pieters, did that his whole life. Just really kept us grounded and shared his truth and was a lovely guy. So sorry he's gone, but so glad he's with us for as long as he was and all the gifts he gave us. So rest in perfection. let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
Trailer Park. I wanted to talk about some of the movie trailers that have been posted this week online. The Willy Wonka origin story.
I saw this
Wonka.
last night. I
You
saw
did.
this one last night. Yeah, I was like, eh.
People texted me the picture. Who is it?
Timothée Chalamet.
Okay.
Little Timmy Chalamet is supposed to be Willy Wonka, and he just lacks the whimsy, the gravitas of Gene Wilder. He lacks, the thing about Wonka is he's supposed to be dangerous. He's supposed to be unhinged. And Timothée Chalamet just doesn't have any of those qualities. And I don't know that we need an origin story. I think the whole purpose of it being called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory originally is that Charlie and the grandfather are what ground the story. Otherwise, it just becomes a CGI crap fest, which is what this looks like. I'm very sorry. Moving on very quickly. Ding. The other big trailer of the week was the Napoleon, Ridley Scott's big biopic of Emperor Napoleon starring Joaquin Phoenix. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh, good.
It is. It is everything you want in a movie. It is spanning, continents and wars and love affairs and costumes and fabulous costumes and more costumes and that big hat. He wears that big hat in every scene. It's so fabulous. Joaquin Phoenix is going for his Oscar. He's going for another Oscar. He's going to get it.
Well, I'm basically friends with Joaquin Phoenix because Steven, my bestie, goes to the same gym with him.
Well, there you go. So tell Joaquin that we are all for it. Interestingly, we live in such a weird time, and Blake and I were talking about this a little bit last night, where you have to pass a purity test. And people online were like, Napoleon was a bad man. Why are we going to go see a movie about a bad man? Well, girl, everybody has to be Mother Teresa?
No, because he was consequential. Because you should know what bad people do, so you don't let them do it again.
Exactly. See what you can learn from history, so that we don't repeat it. And apparently, that's so much of what the story of Napoleon is about. It's funny because I know my Louis the 14th, 15th, and 16th. I know my Charles. I know my Sun King. I know all of that. I know up to the Revolution, and then I don't know Napoleon. It's a cultural blind spot for me, a historical blind spot. I'm excited for this, but it's also a big year for French history because we have Jean du Barry coming up, the story of Madame du Barry, who was Louis the 15th's mistress after Madame de Pompadour died. And she was a whore who hard scrabble life, coming up through the streets to bed the King of France. And everyone hated her. She spent her whole time in the at Versailles trying to get Marie Antoinette's approval. She finally got it. Marie Antoinette finally acknowledged her by name one day, and that, if you've ever seen the Marie Antoinette, it's a huge moment in the movie where
she said, "Hey ho, hey ho." She goes, "Hey girl."
Now, and they say that this one, the costumes are out. Just out dreamy. The cinematography is Oscar winning. Everything about this production is fabulous. Louis the 15th is played by Johnny Depp. And Johnny's maybe been canceled, sort of. Who knows where people stand on Johnny now? But they say this is his best role since Edward Scissorhands. They say that he embodies the French president or the French king like nobody else has ever done. Even his rotten teeth look perfect for the film, and they say that his he speaks in French the entire time, and even the French are saying that his accent is absolutely spot on. You would never know he was from Kentucky by way of Florida.
James, this is gonna be a very good summer of movies for you.
Well, can you imagine Jean du Barry and Napoleon?
I want to see more hats being worn by you, James, here on the Wow Report. I want you to be inspired by what you see on the big screen.
I guarantee that by Christmas, we are all going to be in Napoleon hats. It's going to be the big trend. It's going to be the trend that takes off. I think every fashion show is going to feature a Napoleon
hat. I need a hat, so why not a Napoleon hat?
Right.
James, remember when you were like going through your bonnet phase?
Well,
sadly, I remember James Bonnet phase.
Well, I mean, I never really saw her out in any bonnets.
There were some pictures that were upsetting, though. Uh-oh. Here we go.
Oh.
Here we go. Sorry if you're
It
listening.
looks good like that.
Oh my God. French Lieutenant's bonnet. James, you are a vision. Bonnets, bring back the bonnet, bring for the ladies, and the Napoleon hat for the men, or blur gender lines. Why am I so old-fashioned?
It's like she's from Margaret Atwood.
Doing that. Oh my God.
All right. No cuts this weekend. No cuts except for the one cut. All right. We are quickly approaching number one, but we can't get there until we talk about number two.
Number two.
Tom, weren't you in Vegas this weekend?
Yes, I was.
Did you wake up in your own hotel room, or
is this about the naked people and the abductees and things of that nature?
No. This was a guy who was pretty cute. I'll post his picture on the Wow Report.
I've heard about this. I haven't seen it. Keep going. I missed it.
He's from Long Island. There is video of him running through the Flamingo Hotel, which is where
I was there. Yes, that's where Drag Race Live is.
And he's like up on the tables, like butt naked, shaking it for everyone. At one point, he gets down and like
it was Ginger Minge.
At one point, he gets down and like shows everyone his crap cave, like points to it and everything. Well, on TMZ today, the headline is Las Vegas streaker wife comes to his defense. He was drugged. So she's saying that someone flipped him like hallucinogenic, and he is the victim.
All, no. Someone is doing some PR control, some damage control, because that ain't what happens when somebody gives you a Mickey.
Well,
what happens, James? James, what happens?
Well, you basically fall into a stupor. You don't jump onto a table and show the world your man cave.
I see what you're saying.
That's right. It's a crap cave.
A crap cave. You don't see that. No crap caves. I also just want to say that in Vegas, I think it's the heat. Maybe is what it is. It's making everyone crazy. Because did you see the guy throwing the TV and the nightstand out of the window?
Yes.
No.
We stayed at Caesars, and it's some guy like held someone hostage at Caesars and threw things out the window. And we went to the Flamingo, and that's where that happened. It all happened, I think, on Sunday after I left. And the only thing I can say, and I hope I don't get the FDIC or whatever, but they do sell House of Love cocktails and mocktails at the Flamingo. So I hope that had nothing to do with either of these incidents.
Doesn't the FDIC deal with banks?
I think so. Yes, I think it does.
Okay.
But I got a lot of money, so they follow me around. They listen to what I have to say.
Well, that's all I've got. If you know where the uncensored pictures of the Las Vegas streaker are, drop them in the comments below.
I'll just say, because I'm tacky, and I think I say this every week in some form, but being in Vegas, walking around, seeing lots of people, it's like there are a lot of hot straight guys. Is it like hot? Is it straight guys on steroids? Is that what I'm getting? Like there's something, they're beefier, they're straight, they'll beat you up if you look at them, but they look super hot. I don't know.
This guy's definitely got a dad bod. Like he's kind of a bear, but he's not on steroids. So
all right. Well, next time. All right. Well, if you're still listening to the show, we've got you sucked in because we've said very little this week. But don't go away. Don't fear. There's one more chance as we count down the top 10 things that make us go wow. We're going to reach number one right after this. Don't go away. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
We are back. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you've been with us the whole show, you crazy. But we are about to now reveal the number one thing this week that made us go
wow.
Number one.
Well, this week wasn't a good wow.
No.
It's a bad wow. Madonna has postponed her tour until October, meaning she will be skipping the first leg of it, which was in North America, and going straight to Europe, meaning the ticket that I have in Los Angeles on my birthday, I will not be able to use. It is being postponed. Luckily, James St. James and I saw that Jethro Tull will be at the Greek.
Well, no, we also saw the Air Supply was coming, and I think that between Jethro Tull and Air Supply, you got Madonna. I mean, it equals Madonna in the hits and the strength of the music.
Right. Now, did you guys have tickets? I hate that Fenton wasn't here because he had a ticket to the opening day in like where was it? In Canada.
In Toronto, somewhere. I think is where he was going.
I think Fenton had tickets to the ICU room that Madonna was in just last week.
Billy got them.
But you know, the good news is that she seems to be doing well. She posted some pictures. She looks fantastic. She was out and about in New York City walking and talking to people. So hopefully that she is recovering and she is taking care of herself, because big love to Madonna. And I was very heartened to see, you know, she gets a lot of crap online and especially on Twitter, and people were the minute they realized that we might lose Madonna, like there was an outpouring of love.
Well, I hope she takes this opportunity to, what you said, take care of herself, because she seems, who knows, it's all perception, but she seems like she's high and she's doing stuff. Not that doing drugs is bad, but just like, I just hope she's taking care of her body and her mind. And I went online late, so I have 3 seats for the same concert in different parts of the venue. So I'll either sell them, bring other people, or I might just see Madonna from 3 different vantage points the night of the concert. So that's
funny.
All right. Well, guys, thank you. We gave Fenton crap for being away, but we miss you, Fenton. Come back. And in the meantime, and James, you're wonderful. Jake, you're wonderful. Thank you. That was a Jake joke. Until the next time we see you or hear you, please, listeners, go out and do something that makes the world go wow. Bye.
Bye.
That was amazing.